Good morning, partners. It's early in the morning here, and we have a battle to take care of. So far, we've done a few blade steel battles. We've done M4 versus K390, and we have done M4 versus S90V. On the first one, the K390 versus M4, it was very, very close. I would say, gosh, I don't know. I honestly can't pick a clear winner. With the M4 and S90V, the S90V held a little bit better edge for longer. Both were cutting paper really easily, even after the testing, but the S90V was just a little bit, stickier sharp after the testing than the M4. So I want to see how this S90V does against another legend, the 15V. Very curious. We've kind of been talking about it a little bit in the lives, and there's a good amount of people that think the 15V is going to win. There's a few people that think the S90V is going to win. I don't know, man. I know there has been a YouTube channel that cut some absurd amount of cardboard with 15V before it was unable to cut paper anymore. I haven't really looked into too many testing videos of S90V. I know it's fantastic. I mean, I can already tell it is because I've already tested it. I think it's going to be close, man. I think it's going to be close. So let's get out there and start. Now, because I arrived at the shop really early today to shoot the video, I can't get inside to get more cardboard, and I don't have any in my truck here. So it's going to be a little bit of a different test, but that's okay. It's a battle. It's not like one of the regular tests, so that's fine. We're going to cut a lot of strap, some ropes, some leather, some other stuff, and we'll just, we'll do the same on both knives. We'll go cut for cut, and then keep going back to the paper as soon as one kind of starts to snag a little bit or doesn't cut as cleanly. We probably could, it could be an hour-long video. We're not going to go that long, but these blade steels are so good, we could potentially be out there for an hour or longer just cutting, waiting for it to not be able to cut paper anymore. But we're not going to do that. We'll go for a while. We'll see how it goes, and see if there's a clear winner. And if not, then I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. So let's go out and do it. All right, let's freaking do it. So I recorded this voiceover yesterday after I did the testing and the intro video part. And I went through the whole video recording the voiceover, and it got deleted. So I got frustrated, gave up, put it aside, and now it's the next day. I'm back, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to do the voiceover for this cut test battle, and let's freaking do it. So I already know the results, obviously. I'm doing this afterward. Let's see which one of these knives cuts better, dude. S90V on this Pair 3. This is the factory edge. Very, very sharp factory edge. Very sharp. Actually, I think probably one of the sharper Spyderco factory edges I've seen ever. And then this Manix 2 in 15V has an edge done on it by Lacey. So not a factory edge, but both are comparably sharp. Very, very sharp. This test is going to be a little bit more of an edge retention sort of battle rather than how the knives perform, as far as the blade shapes and ergonomics go. I already know both these knives are, really good EDC knives, really good cutters. I'm really looking to see which blade steel holds an edge longer. And like I said, I don't have any cardboard today, so we're going to do things a little differently. We're just going to cut a lot of rope, a lot of straps, and some leather, and a few other things. We're going to go cut for cut, and then we'll see, see how they cut paper afterwards. So we're doing 10 cuts on this nylon rope. This stuff's easy to cut through, and with this edge, it's just like it's not even there. It's like cutting thread. It's kind of fun, actually, just blasting through it. So little pressure even needed. You kind of almost just like put the edge against the rope and then just drag it along a little ways, and it just separates. Pretty fun. And I ran out of rope. I'm going to try to use these little pieces. That really shows how easily it is cutting. I mean, I hardly have any rope to hang on to, and yeah, still cutting really easily. Another reason we can't really do a battle as far as like blade geometry, the Manix has a longer cutting edge than the Para 3, so that's not completely fair. So there you go. I have done a full cut test with this Manix 2 before, though, so if you want to see me, judge the ergonomics and the blade geometry and all that kind of stuff, you can watch that specific cutting test. This is some real thick leather I bought a while back. I was trying to make a couple sheaths, and I realized this leather was just way too thick to really be doing something like that. So I figured it'd be kind of fun to cut up. These are just leftover scraps anyways. Doing some utility type drag cuts on it, and it's going through really easily. Really easily. This is pretty thick leather, I would say. I don't know how leather sizes work. I don't know if they do it in like gauges or fractions of an inch. I have no idea. But it's pretty thick stuff. Manix 2 also going through really easily. Both these knives have pretty low tips and are really good for utility cutting. And they have a little bit of belly both too. So, you have that too when you're doing types of cutting that is better with a little bit of belly. You're good to go on that. The Para 3 has a little bit more belly than the Manix 2, but both have, I think, pretty close to the perfect amount. Although I will say I think the Manix 2 is overall probably one of Spyderco's best, work knives, I would say. It's slicey while still being tough. It's a precise tip without being too fragile. It's really ergonomic, tons of jimping everywhere, really locked in sort of feeling when you grip it. As far as like a, light to medium use EDC knife, there might be a better choice. Maybe maybe this Para 3 or maybe a Native 5. Maybe a Delica. But as far as like a little bit heavier duty work knife with some more edge, Manix 2 is hard to beat. Let's stack up a couple of these pieces. Maybe do 2 layers or 3. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I'm trying to figure out the best way to stack these. Yeah, okay, we're doing 3. 3 layers. There we go. Look at that. It's pretty thick. I would say that's probably like a 1/2 inch of leather there. Pretty freaking good. I think, leather must be kind of hard on edges when you're cutting it, right? Because I mean, we use leather on our straps to sharpen or to, you know, tune up our edges. So it would make sense that if you're, you know, rubbing that leather on the edge, like you're not, you know, opposite of what you're doing when you're strapping, that it should dull the edge instead of sharpening it, I would think. I mean, obviously it is, but I'm just mean like compared to other materials, I wonder if it dulls an edge quicker when you're cutting leather like this. So overall with the leather, I'd say they did very well. If I was using a pocket knife to cut leather like all day, I would pick something with, you know, thinner geometry, thinner blade stock probably. But, you know, these knives will do really well. Let's check where our edges are at. Unbelievable. And I'm being 100% straightforward here. I can't even tell a difference between now and before we started. These are just, I mean, the edges have really seen very little to no noticeable change after, you know, the rope and the leather. Pretty crazy. I would have thought that, you know, I would at least notice something, you know, a little bit of fraying on the paper at least, or something, but I honestly can't even tell that it's been used. Let's get out our new roll of strap material. This is my last roll. I was sent 3 rolls of this stuff by a subscriber, and I'm on my last one already. Shit. If you guys have access to like a bunch of this stuff, or for whatever reason, and you want to send it to me, I would be very appreciative of that. I think it's a really good material to do testing on. You know, it's not easy to get through. Not all knives can make it through on one cut. So when you do have a knife that gets all the way through it, it's like it's a big deal. You know, it means that means that it's a good cutter a lot of times. And you can kind of judge like how far it gets through. I know if you're and I do this strap like I don't know, halfway, a little over halfway through the whole testing. So if I'm testing a knife that has lost some edge at this point in the testing, it'll only go through like halfway, or even like, you know, a third of the way through the strap. But a real sharp knife like this will go all the way through. We're very close to all the way through. If the Para 3 just had a longer edge, it would have gone all the way through easily. But the Manix 2 here, since we have more cutting edge, does get through it in one cut. Oh yeah, look at that. A little bit of a dangler left on that one. I think we're doing 5 cuts right now. Each. All right, let's get out the paper and see how that affected things. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot at all. And not a whole lot on the S90V either. Looks like we're going to be cutting a lot more strap. I want to dull these knives to a point where I can see a discernible, you know, difference. And I don't know how long that's going to take. So let's cut some more strap, I guess. Let's do 5 more. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I think I decided to cut up some of this rope. like on a surface, food prep style. And then we'll go back to the strap. I think the Para 3 is a pretty good food prep knife. You know, I've been saying this in the past couple cut test videos, but I want to just make sure that everybody hears it. For a little while, I was saying in these videos that I thought that a sheep's foot or a Wharncliffe would be best for this type of cutting, like a food prep situation like this. I'm learning that that's not really the case. For this kind of cutting that I'm doing right here, which is kind of a food prep style, cutting up a sausage or a cucumber or something, you actually want a little bit of belly, because you can kind of rock the edge on whatever you're cutting. You know, more surface of the edge is in contact with the cutting board at a time, instead of you know, with a sheep's foot or a Wharncliffe, you really only like the you know, first quarter inch towards the tip is really doing all the work. So that is a correction that I am learning over time. For that type of cutting, a little bit of belly is better. Oh, hold on. Let's cut some of this stuff first. This is it's like a real hard plastic pallet strap material, kind of like a zip tie. Excuse me. So let's do 2 cuts per knife on these guys. It's gotta be hard on edges. I mean, the knife's cutting it through pretty easily, but you know, it's a real hard plastic, so it's gotta be hard on the edge. Let's do 2 with the Mannix. All right, now let's get out the paper. Okay, our first sign of a little bit of dulling. We have a tear at the end of the cut there. We didn't that time, or that time. That was the first time I saw anything that indicated that we were getting a little bit dull. Duller. Now, the 15V. A little bit of tearing at the very tip there. Depending on kind of on the angle that you're cutting though, so. That was a clean one. So, yeah, slight bit of dulling. Not very much at all. Well, let's cut some more strap. Let's do another 5 cuts per knife. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee here. All right. On to the Mannix. This testing could have gone on for so long. If I was getting them to the point where like they wouldn't cut paper anymore, I would have been out there for, I really think like an hour or more. That's how good these blade steels are. It's insane. It's like, Yeah, it's just absolutely nuts. I think this 15V is actually even a little bit better than I was giving it credit for. I think here's what happened. Before I had gotten any 15V, I had kind of built it up in my head a little bit too much. So when I got it, and I saw that it's not like a magic blade steel, you know, you are going to have to strop it occasionally. I was kind of like, okay, yeah, it's really good, but it's not like insanely good. But over time, the more I use it, you know, I have a Shaman in 15V and this Mannix, so between the two knives, I carry 15V pretty often. And over time, I really started to notice, and after this test, really, I started to notice just how good this stuff is. So we're having a little bit of tearing now at the very end of our slice. You can see at the very end right there where it kind of swoops up instead of just doing a straight cut all the way to the edge of the paper. So that is a sign. That's a sign. It's still cutting paper really, really good. But we have succeeded in dulling the edge a little bit. With the 15V, same kind of thing. It's tearing a little bit. But really not bad at all. Yeah, both of these blade steels are very impressive. I don't know what to do. I don't know if we should end the test or keep cutting strap. I don't want to cut up all my strap. I think what we'll do is go back to the paper and really closely look at the cuts that the knives are making and try to, you know, do exactly the same cuts, exactly the same angles for both knives, and see if we can judge, or see if we can tell that one's cutting better than the other. So the first cut you saw, we got some tear. A little bit of tear on the 15V though too, not as much as the S90V. Let's do another one. Cutting slowly. Little tear at the very end. 15V. No tear at the very end. So I don't know, man. It's so close, but it seems like the 15V is cutting the paper just very slightly better. And I could have kept going and trying to analyze it more accurately, but I just got to go with my gut, and the 15V seems to have held a little bit of a more keen edge than the S90V. Let's strap them up and see how easily they respond to some strapping. We're doing 10 strokes per side and then flipping the strap over, doing 10 strokes per side on the soft leather side, whatever that's called, suede. So yeah, as you can see, really, really close. It's hard to tell the winner. It really is. You know, cutting paper is kind of a hard one because, as is the case with a lot of things in the knife, you know, in knife cutting tests, there's a lot of variables. You know, the angle you're holding the knife, the angle you're holding the paper, how fast you're going, you know, where you start the cut on the edge, a lot of things. And it's pretty much impossible to do the same exact cut twice. So, you know, it just seemed to me like the 15V was cutting paper a little bit better. So that's what we're going with. Man, look at that. Not a whole lot of strapping at all, and we are back, baby. I would say we are very close to just as sharp as it was before we started. Really, really sticky edge. That's great, man. S90V straps back pretty well. I was unaware of that. That's great to hear. Great to see, I mean. Now let's drop up to 15V. I already know this stuff drops back pretty well because I do it a lot. But I'll go ahead and show you guys. I do a lot of stropping. I like doing it, and also I like my knives to be always as sharp as they possibly can be. So, you know, if I'm at work and I break down a bunch of boxes, I'll just go and strop it up right after that. You know, I won't even wait till the end of the day. I'll just give her a little strop. You know, why not? And as a result of doing that, a lot of my knives I never have to take to the stones to sharpen up because, you know, I'm upkeeping the edges on my strap. I was telling my mom that the other day. I just sharpened one of her kitchen knives, and I was telling her, hey, if you just get a strop and you run it across the strap every day, even every other day, even every couple days, you know, it'll be a lot longer before you have to give this back to me to be sharpened. I don't know if she's actually going to do it and actually get one, but you know, it is true. So check it out. 15V after the strap. Sharp as hell, man. Sharp as freaking hell. So, 2 knife steels that hold an edge ridiculously long and strap back very well and pretty quickly. That's amazing. Now, I think a lot of people, if they don't have any 15V already, are going to have to settle with S90V because, you know, Spyderco isn't making any more of these 15V sprint runs. I don't think. They could come out with more in the future. I hope they do. But as of right now, you can't really get any 15V unless you can find them on the secondary market. Now, day to day, I really don't think you're going to notice a difference between these two blade steels. I just don't think you will. You know, the amount of cutting I did in this video is more cutting than I do in an entire day. An entire 2 days, maybe, for, you know, some days. So I just don't think it's really going to matter. You're not going to notice a difference when you're carrying some S90V. You're not going to be like, oh man, this sucks, I wish I had 15V. It's just not going to happen. So this was really fun. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. And please like the video before you bounce. And yeah, I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.